Dr. Montessori developed her approach through observation of children. She watched to see what children showed her at every stage of their development and then responded to those needs, to what they demonstrated would best serve their development. And this makes it a really unique approach to education because it's not something that was imposed upon the children, but actually emerged from what the children were showing Montessori. One of the big revolutionary things that Montessori observed was that children are fundamentally different from adults. They aren't just adults in miniature, which society had sort of treated them for a very long time. Montessori saw that there are distinct characteristics throughout a child's development that need to be supported in different ways, depending on the age of the child and what they need at that time. And she realized that at every stage of development, no matter what the age of a child, the child is really working to build themselves. They are self-constructing. That we outside of the child can support that, but the construction of self is happening inside the child, and the child is doing it all the time. Montessori saw that we are wired to build ourselves from birth, that we have to build ourselves adapted to our particular culture and location. We don't have instincts and adaptations like animals to a specific environment, a specific place. We have to take that in from our surroundings and build ourselves to respond to that. So children are constantly self-constructing and adapting to their culture and their environment. And when Montessori started to respond to that, when she offered children exactly what they needed at a certain stage of their development, the impact was profound. People came to visit Montessori's classrooms and were just amazed. The press hailed these children, these 3 to 6 year olds who were working with concentration and quiet and focus. They hailed these children as new children. Now, Montessori said, these aren't new children. This is just children who have developed and been supported in natural development. But she did realize that these new children, as they were called, needed new adults that could support their development. Montessori saw that to best support children's development, the new adults that are working with them can't be like a traditional teacher, just depositing information in a child's brain. That these new adults have to be ready to serve children's development, to serve the construction of themselves that they are doing. We aren't the know-all in front of the classroom, but instead this sort of collaborator in service of children's self-construction. And it's this idea that really is foundational for the rest of the work we do with children in a Montessori environment, or the way we approach children. We have to constantly think about approaching children from the perspective that I am here to serve your self-construction, that you are doing that work constantly, whether or not I support you. But in order for you to have optimal self-construction, I need to support you in specific ways. So we as adults have to consider ourselves more like scaffolding, right? That's there on a building that's under construction and only there as long as it's needed to support the construction. Because scaffolding's ugly, right? It's not meant to be on a building. And the same with the way we support children. We're not going to be there forever. That scaffolding we provide is there as long as the children need. We'll move it to another place as they don't need it in one place anymore, or eventually, as they mature into adulthood, it won't be needed anymore. That's our role as adults when we are supporting this self-construction. And this does have to be the way we approach children all the time, with this idea that they are building themselves. We have to believe, wholeheartedly that they're doing that they can do it, that they'll do it no matter what, and that we have confidence in them doing that. And our job is to support that in the best possible way. But we can't do that constructing for them. We have to believe in their ability to do it and provide just the right support as they need it. Not too much, not too little, but really being aware of what they need and how we can serve them as they are doing this really hard and sacred work of building themselves. So we have to take this idea in that children are building themselves. And when we do that, the rest of our approach follows logically. The children are building themselves, and we have some specific things we can do to support that. Our curriculum isn't then the focus of our method, of our approach to children. It's just one of the tools we use to help children build themselves, to ignite their interest, to inspire them to continue to build themselves. That's what our job is in supporting self-construction. If we don't embrace this idea, if we forget that children are doing this work, this self-constructive work, it's easy for us to revert to more mainstream practices of punishments and rewards and the imposition of a syllabus or a curriculum. And then we've lost our way. We have to wholeheartedly take on this idea of self-construction and our role as servants to that self-construction. And then the rest of what we do, the rest of what we'll talk about here, can support you in being able to do that, to optimally support children's self-construction, to really respond to their developmental needs and give them the tools to build themselves.